you would like to take your meditation posture, the posture is one in which we seek to find a balance between effort and relaxation. So the effort is put into the spine, the head, to keep them straight, but not overly straight, overly stressed. But once the spine is straight, the head is straight, then the rest of the body can be relaxed. So you have this initial teaching of the balance between effort and relaxation, which we carry through in every area of our practice, and translates also from the physical dimension to the mental dimension. So the whatever meditation object that we are using, we are at heart doing, trying to do four things and applying, we call the four right efforts. So those require us to establish a relationship with our meditation object in such a way that distracted thoughts and hindrances will not hijack our mind or draw us away from our meditation. Now, as that's a very difficult thing to do, we will usually need to put forth the second kind of effort, which is to re-establish attention when we become distracted by thoughts of the past, the future, and so on. Now, as the meditation progresses, then more and more the emphasis shifts to introducing into the mind, establishing wholesome mental states that were not previously there, in particular mindfulness and clear comprehension. And as those mental states become stronger, then we are learning how to nurture those positive mental states and how to develop them further. So we can look on the meditation practice as a time in which we set up a particular supportive environment in which we can give full attention to these four elements of right effort. Learning how to take care of the mind, to prevent the unwholesome mental states that have not yet arisen from arising, from dealing wisely and effectively with unwholesome mental states that do arise, in establishing wholesome mental states that have not yet arisen, and in cultivating and nurturing and further developing those wholesome states that have developed, have arisen. So if we are meditating on the breath, this is our challenge. And how do we create the optimum relationship between the mind and the breath? How can we create that bond between the mind and the object such that we are more interested, we have more commitment to that relationship than to any other thought or perception. So the more that we enjoy and appreciate the meditation, then the easier it is to protect the mind against those mental states that will undermine it. So the quality of chanda and interest, enthusiasm, commitment is most important of the various prerequisites for meditation. And at the beginning of a meditation session, it's good to just check on that level of interest. And if if it's lacking, then it's worth just spending a minute or two just revising and reflecting on the suffering that you've experienced in your life, the suffering you've created for others through a lack of mental training, through the presence of defilements in your mind, and then the benefits of abandoning defilements, and we can recollect, turn our mind to great teachers that we've been fortunate enough to meet, or perhaps to listen to, or to read, and to see how wonderful it would be to emulate them and to realize what they've realized, that freedom from defilement. So it is in essence revision of the noble truths that as long as there's suffering in the mind, as long as there is defilement in the mind, there'll be suffering, but that the end of suffering is possible and attainable through following the Buddhist teachings, and that meditation practice is when we create the conditions in which we are wholeheartedly devoting ourselves to the practice of the Eightfold Path. And without meditation practice, then we will never have sufficient mental power and clarity and stability to free ourselves of suffering and its causes. So that's perhaps a little long-winded explanation, but you can devise your own shorthand, shortcut reminder at the beginning of a meditation, just to orient the mind and to give the mind that enthusiasm and interest. Now, meditating on the breath can be practiced in a number of different ways, and if you are not a very experienced meditator, then it's often a good idea to start off with a much more general awareness of the breath throughout the body. And when mindfulness has been established and there is an unforced and relaxed but focused awareness of the breath, then to narrow that focus to one particular point in the body, such as the tip of the nose or the area around the upper lip, wherever the sensation of the breath is most clear. So one way of establishing a more general awareness of the breath is to divide the body into four areas. The first area being the head, the face, the neck. Then the second area being the shoulders, the arms, the hands, fingers. The third area, the torso. And the fourth area, the body from the hips down to the feet, toes. And so for a few breaths, just aware of all the sensations that appear naturally as we breathe in, as we breathe out, in the area of the head, the face, and the neck. And then we're aware of the sensations arising, passing away in the shoulders, the arms, the wrists, the hands, the fingers. Not visualizing those parts of the body or not trying to create any feelings, but just aware of whatever is manifesting in the present moment in that particular area. Then the sensations in the torso, you sense the expansion and contraction, which corresponds with the in-breath, and the out-breath is very clear. You're feeling in the spine, in the abdomen, just any sensation that is present, that appears on the inhalation, any that appears on the exhalation, we simply note it. So we're establishing that sense of equanimity and a clear awareness of whatever is arising without reacting towards it. And the fourth area of the body, from the hips downwards, the bottom, the area of the body which is in contact with the floor or with the seat, the thighs, the knees, the calves, the ankles, the feet, the toes. It's that whole area. Any sensation that appears as we breathe in, any sensation that appears as we breathe out, simply recognizing it, being aware of it. And then the fifth step is to be aware of the whole body, from the top of the head to the toes. As we breathe in, as we breathe out. So this is a very relaxed, broad, gentle introduction to breath meditation. Just feeling the whole body, just being aware of whatever sensation arises at whatever part in the body without choosing. As we breathe in, as we breathe out. So that's like a warm-up exercise, and we can continue that for another round or 2 rounds if we wish, or we can now focus our attention on one particular point in the body in which we can observe the breath in a more refined, subtle way. So the most popular, effective area tends to be either within the nostrils or at the tip of the nose or in the area around the upper lip. And we choose a spot in which the breath can be experienced very easily and pleasantly. And some meditators will prefer to be aware of the breath in the throat or in the chest area or the abdomen. And there's no right or wrong here. It's choosing one particular area or one particular point or spot to focus upon. So the 2 main tools or virtues that we are employing here, mindfulness and clear comprehension. So mindfulness means simply not forgetting what you're doing. Clear comprehension is a form of wisdom. It's a very mild or preliminary form of wisdom, and it's what keeps track of the mindfulness. It's clear comprehension that tells us we're putting too much effort in and not enough relaxation, and we're getting kind of tight, and maybe the breathing becomes unnatural or forced, or if we become too relaxed, then we get sleepy. If the mind wanders, it's clear comprehension that tells us, we're thinking about something other than what we intended to devote ourselves to. So clear comprehension is kind of like a quality control. It keeps an eye on mindfulness, and it's that sense of wakefulness and alertness. And it's absolutely key to any meditation technique. Once you start to lose that sense of alertness and wakefulness, clarity of mind, then the hindrances are going to envelop the mind, particularly the sloth and torpor. And sloth and torpor is not necessarily falling asleep and nodding, but it's in its more subtle manifestation can be like a stiffness of the mind. So when there is a balance between mindfulness, clear comprehension, right effort, there is a flexibility and a brightness to the mind. If the mind is going in a kind of blurry state, then that's a sign that losing the path and need to put more energy and effort into into the meditation.